Hey, what's good? You're back on Nieves Podcast, and today we got with us a special guest. We got Dean in the house. Y'all, come on, let's get a little chat.
Hey, dímelo. Nice to be here with you today,
Thank
man.
you, I appreciate it.
Much love, yo.
We've been driving around today, Old San Juan,
Trying to find parking.
trying to find parking. It is crazy out here,
Oh, yeah.
and we're here in the hot sun, but in this beautiful atmosphere as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where can we start, bro? You moved from the Bronx to Bayamon. How has Bayamon been treating you so far?
Bayam's really good. I mean, honestly, it feels like a little piece of New York at the same time because the area where I'm at is close to the train station. Just hop on the train if I need to get to San Juan, Guaynabo. I know the public transportation is right there. So it feels like a little piece of home at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I can't complain.
And then, like, the people out here, how they been treating you? They showing you love?
It's been love. It's nothing but love out here. Honestly, it's just the island life is so different. You know, you just get accustomed to fast-paced, cold individualism lifestyle in New York that you forget people actually have personality outside. You know, they say buen provecho. That they don't. Doesn't matter if you know them or you don't know them. I think that's just what the most beautiful part about living in the island is that they're more welcoming. It's a welcoming environment.
Yeah, it's very they're very people-y. Like you could literally have a conversation with a random person, you don't even know them.
Exactly.
You know, they'd be like, hey, you want a pincho? Yes, sir. And then boom, y'all talking about some coloring books. You know, it's just stuff just happens.
Absolutely.
So what is your favorite thing about living here in Puerto Rico at the moment?
My favorite? I just love the easy accessibility to go to whatever beach I want.
Mhm.
You know, just after being on tour, I'm still on tour right now. This is like my week off before I kick off tour again. Just being back home, having the easy accessibility to go to the beach, go to the countryside, just never know that when I need to disconnect, I have that. I have that privilege to just go wherever I go, you know, whether I have a car or I don't have a car. I just want to rent a car, I go wherever on the island, I can do that. And I just love that it's always going to be there, no matter what. I don't have to wait 4 seasons, you know?
Of course. We love
Yeah.
our summertime. So can you tell us a little bit about the tour that you mentioned, of the awareness you want to bring and the message you want to put out there?
So the tour I'm on right now is called Bridge the Gap. I'm essentially meeting up with the various Puerto Rican communities that are spread across the Northeast. As of right now, I'll eventually make my way to Florida, but as of right now, I've been focusing on the new Northeastern communities, just trying to get an understanding of their cultural upbringing, their difference, you know, because I do believe that, you know, while I'm a proud Puerto Rican from New York, I recognize that we are not a monolith. No Puerto Ricans are the same. The ones from the Bronx are completely different from the ones in Brooklyn. The ones in Queens are completely different. So it makes me wonder, like, what about the other ones? What about Chicago? What about Philadelphia? What about St. Croix? What about Boston? So I think with this tour, it's really trying to get an understanding of how these communities function, how they built themselves, and how they were able to preserve their own identity while still staying true to themselves of being diaspora Puerto Ricans and Puerto Ricans that, you know, still have a strong connection to the island or maybe don't have a connection to the island, you know? So with the Bridge the Gap tour that I've been on, it's been very just eye-opening, just learning about everybody's upbringing and it's their way of life. Like I've never had in Chicago, they have this sandwich called a jibarito sandwich. And it's basically like a steak sandwich with, like, instead of bread, they use tostone.
Ooh.
So it's just like, yo, we don't have that in New York. That's not a thing in New York. Then you go to Philly, you get the Philly Boricua version of Philly cheesesteak. You know, they have those things. They have their own version with a little sazon on top of that as well. I'm just like, yo, even though we're all from the same island, we have such different upbringings. And I feel like that's so important to establish. So the purpose of the Bridge the Gap tour is to also try to look for ways on how to network and strengthen communities within each state, neighborhood, community of wherever the Puerto Rican diaspora is. You know, I did one in Harlem, and the Harlem community and the Bronx community, they're so close to each other, so they have each other to rely on. I don't know nothing about Brooklyn, but when I went to Brooklyn, people from Brooklyn, Staten Island, Queens, Manhattan all came to that one because they're closer with each other, so they have access to each other to learn how to bridge the gap in that way. So I go with the intention of showing that you can still be who you are and you can still be Puerto Rican at the same time, no matter what upbringing you have in your life. And I've been focusing on that on this tour and going to Boston, Rochester, and Waterbury next. I'm super excited.
Yeah. What has been one of the key points that have stuck out to you through your tour at the moment that's caught your attention?
One of the key things that has stuck out to me so far is just, I have to say, there's this one thing about Philadelphia. First time in Philadelphia on this tour. And it's like, it felt like a mix of New York, New Jersey, but it was very much Philly. And they have a whole huge community that's like dedicated to the Puerto Rican diaspora out there. And I have never seen like it's so spread out, so community oriented, but yet still very proud to be Boricua as well. But they have like a northeastern flow to it. It's so unique. I think Philly Ricans are just a different breed or a Boricua as I have seen, you know? And I think that was so unique because you think of Northeast, you think of New York, New Jersey. You don't think of Philly, and Philly is really slept on, and they really have a sense of community out there and a whole different atmosphere, and I just love that.
I love Philly. I'm just not an Eagles fan, but cheesesteaks and everything else is perfect. I'm not throwing no shade. I
mean, they won too, then they win.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. It broke my heart.
Darn.
One of my favorite players on that team, unfortunately.
Indeed.
Saquon Barkley from the Giants.
It happens, man.
That broke my heart.
Oh, well.
Now, what got you into making content? You know what I mean? Like,
so I originally just did content just as a hobby, but when I first moved here, I wanted to use my Instagram just as a way to show that there's more life outside of New York. There's more life outside. I essentially did it to sort of be, what's the word? There's a word for that. I don't want to say sarcastic, or more just like to prove a point. Yeah. You can live in PR. I hated the narrative of there's no life in Puerto Rico. There's nothing. No hay nada. No hay nada. No hay trabajo. No hay esto. No hay el otro. And I'm just like, eso es embuste. If there's 3 million people here, they're making it work no matter what. So I feel like that's really why I started what I wanted to do.
So guys, I know you're like, oh, we keep on moving and stuff. We're just getting new scenes and shots. Mm-hmm. Also, it is raining. So
it comes with living here. Comes with being here. You guys take in the rain every 15 minutes. It happens.
We're having fun.
Absolutely.
But just going back to the question and stuff, like you said, just you wanted to show and prove a point that there's a reason there's 3,000 people, 3 million?
Mm-hmm. 3 million.
3 million people living out here and stuff in Puerto Rico. And if they're surviving, there's a key factor to that.
There's life. There's people living here. And I just felt like with the privileges that I recognize I have of going to college and living abroad with my hospitality degree, I was able to live in Africa, I live in Panama, and just seeing those countries and seeing that people are living very decent lives in those countries that they live in. It's just like, yo, if I could live here, I lived in Panama for 3 months on an unpaid internship, I can live in Puerto Rico, no problem, and I can work and I can make something happen for myself. I fought that narrative for the longest time to let it be known that if there's 3 million people living here, I can live here, and it's not a big deal. I just feel like people put themselves in a bubble and just feel like they can't see themselves living outside of their own neighborhood, which is fine. You don't have to. I'm not saying you have to live outside your own neighborhood. But what I'm saying is that just because you can't doesn't mean you can't tell me I shouldn't. You know, there's a difference.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to put a limitation on me when, you know, I have my own goals, my own aspirations, my own things I want to experience and stuff. And like, you know, hopefully one day in the future, you know, I could live here too. You know what I mean? Start praying for that. But yeah, man, Puerto Rico is definitely a best place, a really beautiful place. Pero hay un narrative que dicen que los boricuas que, you know, born out there in Estados Unidos son los sabos.
Yeah.
I was born out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So let's get into that. Are we really no sabos, or?
I feel like it all depends on the connection that you have with your island overall. And I feel like that's such an American mentality that was created by Mexican American culture, because they have that same problems that Puerto Ricans have as well too. So it's like we're not the only ones that have to fight ni de aquí ni de allá. At the end of the day, you are who you want to be. I'm from the Bronx, but I don't let the Bronx or the past define me. I chose to live outside the Bronx. I chose to get out of New York. I chose to immerse myself fully in the culture. I can get called gringo, New Yorican, Osavo. I can get called all that, but I don't let the impact of others define who I am, because I'm still my own person at the end of the day. And I love the fact that I had a multicultural upbringing and being able to move from there to here. And I have that experience of what it's like to experience multiple cultures and still be open-minded to it. So even though, you know, when I speak Spanish to locals here, they'll easily point out that I have an accent, but it's just like they'll know that they see I'm making the attempt. And I think that's more powerful than to not try at all. I've met people that have been living here for years, don't even try to speak Spanish. Yeah. And for me, that's not fair, because you're not putting your best foot forward and you're making it seem like you're an American and you're distancing yourself from the islanders, and I don't think that's fair. So Are we no sabos? It depends. I mean, we can't generalize everybody. I met a lot of Philly Ricans that are born and raised that speak perfect Spanish. I met a lot of Chicago Ricans that speak perfect Spanish. I've met Cruiser Ricans that talk like this because they're from the Virgin Islands. And they still, cuando hablan español, hablaron como llegaron ahí y llevan más de su vida ahí. It's just like, yo, they speak better than me. They're amazing. So it's just like, I let that narrative, let it rock because I don't let it define me. And I think if you want to learn, you have the tools at your fingertips, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, me growing up, you know, I'm white skinned, got the blue eyes. So
very blue eyes.
Very blue eyes. I grew up, everyone calling me, oh, un gringo.
Yeah.
Pero cuando, like, I started speaking Spanish, they're like, oh, he knows Spanish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you seen Kike Hernandez? You know Kike Hernandez from the Dodgers? That is a white man. Born and raised in the city.
I think I know. So
that is a white body. He is whiter than you and I, bro. And that brother, he speaks English and Spanish perfectly. He's born and raised here, but now he plays in LA. I'm not a fan of him though. That's because I was going for the Yankees. That's why.
Yankee fans over here. But yeah, like I feel like they're trying to cause a culture divide from people trying to identify you, put you in a little box saying you're a no sabo. And then you have the other group that was like, oh, I'm being Boricua porque, you know, we're born and raised.
It's ideology of purism that comes with it, sensing that we're 100% Bori. I mean, meanwhile, there's no such thing as 100% Bori. You're 100% mixed Puerto Rican, but they don't like to touch that topic, and I like to fight that topic. But it's a ideology of purism, but it's also like, I get the pride sense of wanting to keep the culture alive because now we're fighting to maintain our identity. There's Puerto Ricans that want to be a state. There's Puerto Ricans that want Puerto Rico to be independent. And that ideology can sometimes maintain or differentiate the difference between who wants what's best for Puerto Rico, whether being a state or whether being an independent country. So I think those play a pact in this layered this whole complex topic of the Puerto Rican identity. You know, and I feel like being born and raised like us, we're grown outside of our culture and we see us having a different identity. We see ourselves, we're a different nation, different culture, different upbringing. Maybe a lot of Puerto Ricans that are born and raised here is like, oh no, we're not a different culture. We're not a different race. We're not a different identity. We are Americans. And it's just like, but you don't speak English.
Yeah.
So you're struggling to speak English. I'm struggling to speak Spanish, but you want to be a state and I want an independent country. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's a complex layer that I feel like causes a lot of division overall. But you know, it's just stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself, and that's all that matters.
It's one of the most important things, you know.
Yeah.
Just not the fact that you're switching up, but just knowing what your identity is. You know what I'm saying? Knowing
planting that seed.
Your background and like for people like me and you or people that are similar to us, you know, we were born in the United States. But we grew up with that love for Puerto Rico.
Yes.
You know, I represent Puerto Rico wherever I go. Just, you know, the way I carry myself, having the Puerto Rico flags in my car and stuff like that. You know, knowing in New York how they put a law to try to take down the Puerto Rican flags.
Yeah.
And to bring them back. Then now, you know, we got the Puerto Rican parade and stuff.
Right.
And just like can't try to turn off a fire that wants to be lit. And that's I feel like that's the very Puerto Rican pride. Like we want to be lit. We want to show like, hey, like
they always say, you're over here, I need you to be over here. I'm like, I'm lit, you're not. Try me. So it's about it's all about perspective. It's all I ever want to say. It's about perspective of how you see yourself and how you want to be seen, you know? And I feel like you carry your culture, your identity with you wherever you go, whether you choose to live in the States, whether you choose to have your career in the States, or whether you choose to have your career here. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I feel like, you know, and you could probably identify too, like growing up in the United States and, you know, you being in the Bronx and me being from PA, you know, you have a lot of different ethnicities, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if like whatever you do in life, if it's college, sports, or whatever, you feel like I gotta represent my culture.
Yeah.
I wanna put a good foot forward for my culture, you know what I mean? Like if it's boxing, you wanna be the best Puerto Rican boxer. If you're a content creator, be the best influencer of the year. You know
don't bring that over here.
Wait. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
representing like who you are, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And going to the influencer of the year thing, like, you know, there's always different people. You know what I mean? I don't know how it works, right? It's always different people.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like it's cool to have a Puerto Rican being that, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And bringing notice, like if you didn't know he was Puerto Rican, now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Right.
And then what were some key moments that you experienced living in the Bronx that helped shape who you are today?
I gotta say, I think one of the best hardcore childhood memories was just growing on a block with having like neighbors that are from Trinidad, Haiti, Italy, having white American neighbors. Like, it was a melting pot that I had living in the Bronx, you know? And I felt like experiencing Kwanzaa, experiencing the Seven Fishes on Christmas, experiencing all these sort of cultural holidays, I feel like that was just something that can never be taken away from me. So I was blessed and fortunate enough to have that multicultural upbringing. I think that's I think that's just probably the number one thing that sticks out to me the most. That's number one. And number two, I would have to say, was sort of finding that solidification in what my heritage was. When I first was exposed to the 116th Street Festival in New York, which is a big festival that happens every day before the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York City. And seeing that, you know, we come in all different shapes, colors, and sizes, that we all come from different walks of life, but we still have the same pride, same heritage of being Puerto Rican. So I think from seeing what Puerto Ricans look like from outside my family, it was really dope to see that in the Bronx especially, and in Harlem as well too, because in Harlem that's where the festivals were. Mm-hmm. So I think that's number two. And number three, I think just one of the biggest flexes of being from the Bronx is being at the birthplace of hip hop. You know, learning that I always saw hip hop was that it was everybody that was from the Bronx that created hip hop. So we have Puerto Ricans that created hip hop. We have African Americans that created hip hop. We have Caribbeans that created hip hop, like Jamaica, Barbados, like at the front lines, you know. And learning that history, I think that's something that nobody could ever try to strip away from me. And I feel like a lot of people try to strip away from me now that there's social media, people from other states, other cities, other upbringings, they don't see Puerto Ricans on the front lines. And I think that it's just like, if you weren't from the Bronx, you have no place to talk. Like, it's like, sit down and enjoy the music, you know? So I think that's one of my biggest flexes.
And you correct me too, I'm pretty sure Bronx was one of the first spots where a lot of Puerto Ricans went to, right? Like when they migrated from Puerto Rico over there?
It was a mix. It was definitely a mix. Brooklyn was definitely one of the first. I would say Manhattan, Brooklyn were the firsts, and then they eventually made their way to the Bronx. But even that whole collective of the Bronx, New Yorican identity I would say the Bronx is what definitely shaped that as well. But the first migration, the first waves, I gotta say was Brooklyn or Manhattan, because that's where the ports were, and that's where a lot of the sugar factories and a lot of the industrialization scene was, where a lot of Puerto Ricans from the island were moving to New York City. So that's where all the factories were. That's where the sugar factory was. Everything. So I feel like it was definitely. If I were to give credit, I'll give credit to Manhattan and Brooklyn for like holding the first neighborhoods, and then they eventually made their way to the Bronx.
All right, shout out to Manhattan and Brooklyn. So you said Puerto Ricans come in all different shapes and colors and sizes. So there's a stigma out there. They're like, oh, you don't look Boricua, right? So I'm supposed to look like a rice and bean. Right. So, like I said, we got white Puerto Ricans, we got our black Puerto Ricans, we got our light skins, our mix. You know,
even then, I've encountered like a lot of people that try to fight me on social media saying that Puerto Ricans ain't black, and I'm just like, all right, let's talk about that, because everybody talks about Roberto Clemente, and we all know he's Boricua, but there's more. They have Tego Calderon, we have La Tribu de Abrante, we have his family that is now with Bad Bunny at La Residencia over there, and there's a whole bunch of black Puerto Ricans that are on the front lines of Bomba and Plena.
Yeah, Tito Trinidad.
Yeah, come on now. We got boxes.
Can't forget him, you know.
Come on, man. Like, we got so many. And I think that it's the erasure of our identity that I feel like is what made me really want to fight more on social media, to sort of be like, we're not a monolith, and we don't all just look the same, you know?
So why you think people try to be like, oh, you're not black? You're like, they put the Puerto Rican like as a thing, but it's not really, like, Puerto Rican is a mixture of
we're a mix. I just feel like with the sole focus of the racial identity in the United States, it's like so like oblivious to them that people can be of mixed heritage as well. And I feel like I get along best with my people from the Bronx because a lot of them were Caribbean, so it's like we don't have to explain that we have multiple lineages in our blood, you know. It's like they just get it. And then having to pull teeth with others that are just one racial background, it was just like, all right, it's like, do we have to go through this again? So people just don't know, and I feel like as an American culture, they just feel like they have to tell you who you are so they can feel better about themselves, because they wish they had what we had, humbly speaking.
Yeah, because it's a mixture of Taino, African, and Spain, right?
Spain.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Arabic and Jewish in there too, but this is definitely probably some Jewish or Arabic blood in me as well. Because fun fact, I actually just found out too that my last name Huertas, not Huertas, is Sephardic Jew. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know until like this year. Well, after doing deep research into my ancestry, so yeah, it goes to show that we have a lot in us as well.
There's a lot of different DNA. I'm pretty sure if I got my DNA done, I'll tell me I'm mixed with a couple different things as well.
We are the United Nations.
Like out here in Puerto Rico, let's go to the
Arroz
meal.
Mampoteado. Number one, arroz Mampoteado. That is something I didn't have growing up in the Bronx, and I just feel like I understand now when some Puerto Ricans want to say like, "Oh, New Yorkers are the same Puerto Ricans as Puerto Ricans from the island." I get that now, and I feel like we'll talk about that if you have that question for later. But arroz Mampoteado is my favorite food. It's perfect. It's a mixture of rice, beans together with the sauce, with the vegetables. Sometimes they do different types of meats in there too. It's just cooked to perfection. You go to any restaurant in Puerto Rico, they're not all going to make it the same. And I think that's one of the best things about trying arroz mampoteado. You're just rolling the dice and see what you're going to get. Sometimes they do it with bacon. Sometimes they do it with ham or chorizo. It depends on where you go, and I think it's just heaven.
So before I leave the island, what I'm hearing is, Chris, you got to try this.
You have to try arroz mamposteado.
Yeah, I got to try that. I don't know if y'all tried that, mi gente, pero, we got to
try
arroz
mamposteado. It's my number one.
But going into that question you just said, so what's the difference between the Puerto Ricans and the New Yorkers, as you were saying?
I feel like, okay, this is a delicate topic for a lot of New Yorkers as a whole, but we have to remember, we're from New York first, Like I said, I don't let my background identify me. I allow it to identify, but I recognize that I'm not the same. I recognize that I had a different upbringing. I recognize that. And I just feel like a lot of New Yorkers, they get so butthurt. They just feel like they have so much to prove. Like, I'm from New York, I'm from New York, I'm from New York. I was like, we get it. You're from New York. But then you keep saying that, it makes it seem like you're not from the Caribbean. You're not from the island. You're not from Florida. You're not from Chicago. You're not from the Virgin Islands. You're not from Boston. You're from New York. Fine. And I feel like there's some New Yorkers that just have this complexity. They feel like they have so much to prove, Oh, but we dance salsa the same. Okay. We don't speak Spanish the same as well either. So it's like, are you going to fight about that? Or are you going to improve on your Spanish? Are you going to improve on your salsa? Are you going to improve on playing bomba en plena? Like, we are not the same. And I feel like one of the biggest key differentiations is that we had to grow up with individualistic mentality. We had to figure it out for ourselves. We had to figure out what it means to get the rent paid. We had to hustle. We had to grind. We had to get it out for ourselves. We had this mentality of me, 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 me. Meanwhile, the people on the island had suffered through the hurricanes, the earthquakes, and all that, and they still have a sense of community orientation. And I feel like I've never heard a New Yorker ever tell me, "Papi, si necesita algo, aquí a la orden." I've never heard that. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I heard, "I got you, I got you." You know how many times I heard "I got you" from somebody and they don't got you, bro? Like, let's unpack that, bro. Even after everything that these Puerto Ricans on the island have went through, of having to deal with blackouts, hurricanes, the corruption of the politicians out here, COVID, and they still have this sense of community orientation. Anybody try to tell me enjoy your meal in New York, you're gonna look at them sideways. Aquí dicen buen provecho. It's like, I don't know you, but just enjoy your meal. Do you know how like wholesome that is, bro? Yeah. Like, I feel like when people get upset about it, they need to self-reflect first of who they are as a person before they can start saying, "Oh no, we're the same. We're the same." We're not the same. And I feel like that's something that I might catch a lot of heat for, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. I gotta stay true to myself. We're not the same. We're not the same, and I recognize that. But I feel like moving here and understanding the cultural differences here, it's like, okay, I get it now. Now I have to be the one to explain to the other New Yorkers that come here on vacation, "Oh, we're the same." I'm like, are we? We're not. And I feel like that's something that, just say it. I'm proud to be from New York. I'm proud to be from New York, but that's in the past. I live here now. I'm not in New York anymore. I'm not gonna bring this New York mentality with me over here, And if you do that, they might call you a colonizer.
So as you said, you can't come in with that New York mentality. So as soon as you touch the island, you feel like you have to get in touch with the island.
I feel like that's the only way to get in touch with the island. And if you're starting to form other friend cliques, groups of New Yorkers that also rematriated here and only have New Yorker friends, like, did you really move here? Did you really move to Puerto Rico? Yeah. Because I feel like I moved to Puerto Rico, my English got better. I feel like when I lived in Miami, my Spanish got better. So it's like, who are you surrounding yourself with? And that's all I have to say with that part.
What could you say when you became influencer to your, like, how did you find out? But also, how did you feel? Because I know, like, you've been a content creator for over 10 plus years now.
We can say seven.
Seven.
We'll say like
Seven plus years now. You know, I know because I'm young. I'm still starting this off. I know there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, off camera.
Right.
That being a content creator, you do experience. You know, think about quitting. Should I even do this?
100%.
Do I have people really supporting me?
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Pero cuando llegué a esa bendición, how'd you feel? You know what I mean?
Getting that call of Influencer of the Year in New York was like, damn, people are watching me. You know, I just, you get so focused on your craft, you get so focused on doing what you love that you forget that you have a subliminal impact on people that look up to you. And I often forget that. Every time I go out, whether I'm here in el área metro o cuando estoy en la cordillera de Puerto Rico, like, la gente me reconoce, me dan amor, me dicen, mira, me encanta tu contenido, veo que estás rompiendo por las redes sociales. Para mí ese me da como ese orgullo, como, it's true, like, it feels good. And when I get it from here or people from the States too, it's like, I forget. I just see myself as a regular guy. Like, the way we're having a conversation right now, might have forgot we would have been recording, you know? Yeah. But it's just that I don't ever put myself in a position where I see myself as like, oh, I'm the influencer of the year. Like, you have to treat me with X, Y, and Z. No, yo soy hombre de comunidad como tú, like, como tu mai, your whole family. We all put our trunks on, our pants on the same way every single morning. So I think that's something I stick by.
That's good, bro. A lot of people sometimes, like,
they get lost in the sauce.
And they forget they're human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
we all believe the same.
It's good to stay humble. And
yeah,
I think if you're like famous and you're really in touch with the community and stuff, I think people even love you even more.
I do feel that. I feel that, like, you have two podcasters in Puerto Rico, Chente Molucco. Molucco's radio full-time, like, he's for the camera, lights, camera, action, for the top 1%, let's say. And then you look at a podcaster like Chente, and Chente is a person that's for the people, that's by the people, that his main source of support and income is from the people. It's not from the radio stations out here, even though he could. I'm not going to support him. His support is from YouTube, from Instagram, from TikTok. That's how he's able to create his own business. So I think that that's what differentiates the two. I feel like if the roles were reversed, you could still tell who's who. And I feel that if Molucco really had to depend on social media, had to depend on all these sort of social media platforms, but then they find out that he's not maybe the best, most welcoming person in person, then it's going to show. And I feel like even though Chente is on the social media platform, but I feel like he was still on the radio platform, he would most likely still be the same person. So I think that's what differentiates the two. That's how I feel. I feel like if yo soy más identify more with Chente, I feel like I'm more for the people, by the people, and I try to stay true to myself.
Yeah, so it goes back to, like, you know, knowing your identity, not letting everything get to you. You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, I bet, you know, a lot of people come up to you, decide about DMs and stuff. Sometimes you even get famous people following you, and don't get me wrong, that's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, it's a little booster, you know. It's a little booster. It keeps me going, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm just focused on doing what I love, you know. And I had this conversation with one of my friends the other day. You can tell when somebody's doing it for the clout or doing it because they love doing what they do, and you'll always know. You'll always know.
And, like, do you work like a? Do you have like a normal job you work? Or
I do private tours. I go around the island. The people that want to book with me, I do private tours around the island. I have places like Ajunta, Las Piedras, Viejo San Juan, and Ciales. My family's hometown, Ciales. Yeah. So I take road trips. I get a car, and then I take wherever the client would like to go for the most part. So I'm really trying to do more tours in La Cordillera, just because I love the mountains. Mm-hmm. But considered my platform, I tend to do a lot more tours in Old San Juan because they want to be in the Old San Juan scenery. They want to try the food, the drinks, the vibrant energy that Old San Juan has. So it's been more historical tours that people sign up for when they sign up with me.
And can you tell us about the restaurant we went to? Because I feel like they need a shout out. I forgot the name.
Coffee House. Coffee House. It's like a very Dutch German name, but it's Coffee House. That food was amazing. Did you like it? It
was bomb.
I know you got a vlog coming with that. So you're gonna post the food over in there. You have to.
I kind of forgot to record. I was doing that.
The food was so good. You were just in the moment.
Yeah, I was just trying to enjoy the moment.
Take a picture?
Yeah, I took a picture.
That's all that matters.
So if you follow me, check out that picture.
Coffee House.
My mom got a what is it called? Omelet.
Oh, you had the omelet, right?
The omelet. I had a waffle with some fruit, some eggs, and
Yeah, sausage.
some
Yeah, I
hash
feel like you had
browns.
salchicha, right? Or no?
Nah, bacon.
Bacon.
And then I don't know if you do this, but me, I sometimes I put my eggs in my ketchup just for more flavor.
Oh, yeah. I do a mayo ketchup.
You mild ketchup.
Yeah,
Because
I do
there's some
mayo
Puerto Ricans that that's disgusting. I'll never do that.
You know what? I say that same thing about pasteles too. They say
Yeah.
like ketchup, no ketchup with your pastele. I'm team pique. I like pique with my
Yeah.
pastele.
So your team putting something on the patele?
Yeah, occasionally.
Alright,
Occasionally, you know what I'm saying? I'm team pique. I'm more team pique. I
Yeah.
feel like team pique, like nobody gets mad about that.
Yeah.
You know?
I like ketchup. I never had it with pique, so I'm definitely remember one day.
Try
and
it.
Try it for sure.
It'll change your life.
At least like Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Do
That's
it. Try pique.
right. Hit you back up.
Call and text me.
Yeah. For pateles, one thing I don't like in pateles is the olives, the green
Ugh,
olives. I feel like that messes up the patele as soon as you bite into it.
Ay,
You're eating it, it's good.
Like,
Chicken.
cuando me muerde
Boom.
un pastel, te sale la aceituna. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's nasty. I after when you go back onto work, I know you stay here for vacation.
So I just did the Bad Bunny concert. It was amazing. I definitely cried. I was in my feelings. It was very, very powerful. I feel like that was the most like Boricua concert I could ever experience. You know, I love Daddy Yankee's concert. I went to Daddy Yankee. His last concert, it was amazing.
And what was your outfit? What you wear?
Oh, you know, I had a little Juan Antonio Corregel, which is a poet / nationalist from Puerto Rico, who's specifically from Ciales. If you go to Ciales, there's a whole bust of him right there, and they have a little plaque that's one of his famous poems called Boricua en la Luna, which was basically a poem that recognizes the New Rican diaspora, and with a self-affirmation at the end where the main character tells anybody that tries to tell him otherwise that I'm Puerto Rican even if I was born on the moon, you know? So I feel like I paid homage to Juan Antonio Corregel by pulling on the nice suave outfit he had when he was in his prime.
Okay. Is he still alive or?
No, he passed away a long time ago.
Check out was a book or poem?
A poem, Boricua en la Luna.
Boricua la Luna. I gotta check it out for sure.
Definitely. There's a song, 2 songs, Fiel a la Vega and Roy Brown. Listen to Roy Brown first so you can appreciate the lyrics. Then once you appreciate the lyrics, then listen to Fiel a la Vega so you can feel the ambiance of what that song really means.
Gotcha. And then you said you're going to Boston, right?
I'm going to Boston. Meet up with the Mass Ricans, meet up with the Boston Ricans, and with the Providence Boricuas out there. So I'm going to Providence this weekend for the Puerto Rican Day Fest out there, and then the week after I go to Providence, Boston, Massachusetts.
So what's something you're looking forward to? Like, is there anything that you're like, I can't wait for this moment?
In Boston, I'm definitely looking forward to Providence Parade. I always miss the, and I went to college in Rhode Island, and I have family from Rhode Island, so I've been going to Rhode Island since I was very young. I always miss the Puerto Rican Day Fest out there. So the fact I'm going there as an influencer to do content and all that stuff, I'm super excited because I finally get to see it, number one. Number two, I think I'm ready for Boston because I'm bringing one of my closest friends, content creator friends. She's a chef. Her name's Omi, Cooking Call Omi. She's going to be there with me, and she's going to be one of my guest panelists for Boston, so I'm super excited.
That's good. She'll be cooking with you too?
No, I hope she makes a brother a plate. You know, I still haven't had her cooking yet, but so I love you, Omi, but I'm waiting on that plate.
Because you're a chef too, low key, right?
You know, I be cooking for myself. You know, I don't want to say I'm a chef, but I be throwing it down in the kitchen for me and my plus ones, you know.
Okay. Now, one of the hot topics right now in Puerto Rico or this past year is the coquis.
Right.
People who move here from America don't like the coquis. How you feel about that? Because I have my own feelings. I feel like, you know, why come here then? But, you know, I feel like you've been living here longer to experience all that. So, like, what can you tell me?
Oh, that hurts. That hurts really bad. The thought of somebody trying to silence something that's native to this land. It's just that with the relationship Puerto Rico has to the United States, it makes traveling here a little too easy for the Americans. If they were to try to travel to Brazil, I feel, or Venezuela, or try to travel anywhere in South America, they wouldn't dare try to do any of that nonsense. But the fact that they don't have to go through customs like that, they don't have to go through TSA like that, border patrol like that with Puerto Rico, they get too comfortable with trying to travel here. And they think they can act out like it's like Miami. They think they can act out like it's like, I don't know, Texas, California. They think they can just do whatever they want. And to hear that people are just trying to silence coquis, it's just like, yo, like, when does it end? That's just, it hurts to hear that. And the fact that resorts are even trying to, there's a word, complacer, Los turistas. I'm like, oh, I got you. I'll take care of that for you. What are you doing? Fight that. You don't like it? Take your money, go somewhere else. Like, I just feel like we get a little too hospitable with the tourism industry out here. And I feel like we need to have more of a firm grip on the ground with the tourism industry as a whole in Puerto Rico, because it seems like we're being a little too nice. But we don't realize that being too nice is also being disrespected at the same time. And I feel like we need to stop that.
Do you think that just goes back to just the whole colonization of things?
Yeah. You would go to Brazil. You're going to tell somebody to speak English in Brazil? You're in my country. Speak my language. I had to learn French when I was in France for the Olympics to do coverage. But would I dare tell somebody to speak English or Spanish to me in France? Heck no. So why do you think you can do that here? I don't care what relationship we have with the United States. Esto es Puerto Rico. Aquí se habla español. So that's just my 2 cents on how I just feel like the politics have been getting a little too comfortable with how Puerto Rico rolls.
Yeah, I just feel like you said, there's a lot of things sliding that shouldn't be slide.
Too much, yeah.
Maybe it should be addressed in the correct manner.
Yeah.
And stuff without... Like, for example, like today, guys, we were driving looking for parking, and then we saw a protest because, the people want to get paid here more, and as they should, because they're here in the hot sun, working, busting their butt for their families to provide.
Correct.
And all that. So it's kind of like, why can't you just help a brother out? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, people that work, like, community-oriented jobs, they don't get paid as much as they should. But meanwhile, if you work for one specific political party in Puerto Rico, you're making above the average income. Remember, the average income is around 30K, 40K. And if you work for that one political party in Puerto Rico, you're making way more. I think starting is like 30 an hour, 35 an hour if you work for that one political party. But if you're like a fireman or a doctor, it's like 15 to 20. Maybe 20 if you're lucky. But you're working as a public service and this is what you're making?
Yeah, it's crazy because you would think, over there, the States and stuff, if you're a doctor or firefighter, you're putting your life on the line, especially as a firefighter, you would think they would be giving back more to them to help them, financially speaking and stuff, instead of, over here it's kind of like, all right, we give you some crumbs, try your best with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks. So hopefully, things one day in the future, hopefully now stuff could start changing and stuff. To be wrapping up, what are some upcoming projects that you have either working on right now or in the future ahead of time?
So I'm in talks right now of possibly expanding my tour to go to Florida. I definitely want to meet up with the Puerto Rican communities out there. There's over 1.2 million Puerto Ricans in Florida as a whole, whether that's Orlando, Kissimmee, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Miami, and I'm ready to touch that. I just feel trying to get events in Florida is like pulling teeth because it's so spread out.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a difficult challenge in my future, but I'm ready for a challenge. I like a challenge, whether it be a small venue, a big venue, I don't care. I just want to see what this way of life is. As somebody that once lived in Florida, I lived in Miami for a little bit and Orlando for like 3 months, and we don't talk about that. But it was an experience, and I just do not like Orlando. I'm sorry, but I give props to those who moved out there because I know they left for a better way of life, and I will never take that away from them. I just don't like Orlando.
Not even the food trucks?
I can't say I had enough food trucks to say I like it.
I try.
You're right. I'll give it a shot. But I'm willing to try it out. But that's in the talks right now. I'm also in the works of getting more in contact with the baseball league, the local baseball league, and the national baseball league. I say local because the LBPRC, the Liga Profesional de Roberto Clemente, I'm in talks with them to try to do more social media coverage to try to promote on the winter league out here because I feel like they're lacking in that. So I'm in talks with them to try to see if we can do like some sort of, even if it's an under the table shake agreement where I can start promoting more, give me control of the social media platform to promote the Winter Baseball League, because with the Winter Baseball League, it leads up to La Serie del Caribe. La Serie del Caribe is when all the Caribbean nations come together to play baseball against each other. So it's like a World Baseball Classic before the World Baseball Classic. So that's one of the things I'm working on. And I'm working with the National League to try to see if I can do social media coverage again, because the World Baseball Classic is going to be happening in Puerto Rico in March 2026. And I would definitely love to be a social media representative on the front lines with that as well. And hopefully we win a gold medal in the World Baseball Classic.
Be nice.
I need something.
Yeah, our boxing is failing us.
Sanders Ayers, I'm rooting for him. He's been holding it down, and he's young, he's humble, and he's hungry for a title. He's on his way to making it big, So yeah. But we need to stop rooting for Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul is a no-no.
It's a no for here,
It's a
bro.
no-no.
I'm all set.
And then, where can we find your content at? Like, what can we search?
So you go to TikTok, Dean Huertas at Dean Huertas. You go to Instagram at Huertas Dean PR. And you go to YouTube at Dean Huertas as well, and Facebook at Dean Huertas. DeanHuert to the A to the S in La Casa.
And what's on YouTube? You have a YouTube channel?
I do. I got my YouTube channel, but I'm trying to revamp that up. But it's still there. It's available. You can find me. But we're just in the process of getting more content up there as well.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you guys heard it. You know, check him out for sure. Show some love.
Show some love to
Follow
this man,
him.
too. Show love to the brother, yo.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can't subscribe to me if you're not subscribed to him.
Right.
I mean?
One hand washes the other.
So check him out, show some love, and you know if you're from Puerto Rico, trying to move out here in Puerto Rico, there's definitely places for you to live out here for sure. Connect with your island, connect with your people, eat some good food, and of course go swimming. And just to end with a quick prayer, real quick, is that fine?
Go for it.
Guys, want to thank you for this day, for this beautiful day, for this beautiful video, Father God. I ask you to bless my brother right here, Jesus. I ask you to just keep blessing him with what he's doing, with all the goals and dreams that he has, that he wants to accomplish, that he can keep on flourishing, Father God, and that he can do what his desires are. And I ask you to bless the audience, that they can come out with this podcast being informed about Puerto Rico and just wanting to learn more and be educated in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Peace.